Hi, my name is Hunter Britt, and I'm one of the music teachers for the Orange Beach Expect Excellence music program. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to play a major scale on the piano. Let's jump in. Okay, so what is a musical scale? A scale is a specific set of notes that you play within the key of a song. For instance, if we were in the key of C, these are the notes that we would use. So let's play a song using all of the notes in the key of C. Alright, so if you've noticed, the key of C only uses white keys. During that whole song, I didn't use any of the black keys that you see up top here. Let me show you what the song would sound like if I threw in just one of the black keys per chord. Alright, that didn't sound too good, did it? That's because I was playing notes that were outside of the scale. So the C major scale is pretty easy because it's only the white keys. Let me show you guys the A major scale this time. This one uses white keys and black keys. Alright, notice how I'm skipping over a few notes here and there. Cool, and let's play the same song, but this time we're gonna play it in the key of A. And back to the key of C. Listen to the difference. Alright, so to figure out how I knew which notes to use for both the C major scale and the A major scale, let's move over to the whiteboard. Okay guys, so to learn how to play a major scale, we have to learn two basic moves. The first one is a whole step, and the second one is a half step. So what is a whole step? A whole step is when we move from one note on the keyboard to another one, but we skip over a note. So let's say we're starting on C, and we want to take a whole step in that direction. We're going to skip over C sharp, and we're going to go to D. So our whole step bounce from here to here. All right, let's say we want to take a whole step from C down in this direction. We're going to go from C, and our whole step's going to skip over B, and it's going to go to A sharp. So we're going to land right here. So our whole step's jumping over from C to A sharp. Okay, so it doesn't matter where you are on the keyboard. If you're taking a whole step, you want to skip over whatever the nearest note is to where you're at. If we're going from here at D sharp and we want to take a whole step upwards, we're going to skip over E and we're going to go all the way to F. And that's a whole step. Okay, so we know how a whole step works. Let's talk about a half step. A half step is when you go from one note to the immediate note on the right or left of it. So let's start at C again. If we're on C and we want to take a half step from C up in this direction, we're going to go to C sharp. And if we want to take a half step down from C, we're going to go right on over to B, because both of these are the immediate note to the right or left of C. Okay, so now that we understand a whole step and a half step, let's get to our formula so that we can know how to play a major scale starting with any note on the keyboard. Alright, so this is our formula for a major scale. Whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step. Let's try it out on the C scale. So we know that already that the C major scale uses only white keys. So this is our first note right here, number 1. To get to our second note, we need to take a whole step. So we're gonna do that right now. And remember, a whole step skips over whichever note's immediately to the right. So we're gonna skip over C sharp. We're gonna go from C to D. That's our second note, okay? First whole step, done. Now we're gonna take another whole step. So we're gonna go from D, we're gonna skip over D sharp, we're gonna land on E. After we get to E, we've done 2 whole steps, it's time to take a half step. And that's gonna take us from E right on over to F. Okay, we're halfway there. Now we're gonna go from F, we're gonna take another whole step, and we're at G. I think you probably got it by now. I'm gonna finish this one out. Okay, so we finished. I actually drew my keyboard a little too short here to get to the last one, but this note right here is B, and if we take a half step, we land right back on C. So a scale is really only 7 notes long, and this is gonna apply for any scale that you play in a song. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we've got C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And then the 8th step is always gonna take us back to our main note. Okay, I'm gonna erase this one and we're gonna do the same thing, but this time we're gonna do the A major scale since I played that one earlier in the video. All right, now that I've cleaned it up a little, let's do the A major scale, and then we'll go back over to the piano. So we're gonna start on A, because that's what key we wanna play in. And our first step we're gonna make is gonna be a whole step. So it's gonna take us from A to B. All right, next step is another whole step. We're gonna go from B, not to C, because a whole step skips over a note. This one's a little tricky, but we're going to B to C sharp. Okay, I'm gonna write it up here. Okay, now we're gonna go from C sharp, we're gonna take a half step, and we're gonna go right down to D. From there, let's take another whole step. It's gonna take us from D to E. After that, we're gonna take another whole step, which is gonna take us from E to F sharp, because we're gonna skip over F. So then our next whole step is gonna go from F sharp to G sharp. And then finally, a half step to bring us from G sharp right back home to A. Take one more look at it and make sure you write this down if you're taking notes at home, and even pause the video and just practice this on your keyboard at home. Okay, awesome. So at this point, you know the formula for how to play a major scale. Let's go over it one more time now that you know what to do. So I'm gonna start on A. You can do this on your piano at home. So we wanna play the A major scale. So we're gonna go from A. Our first step is a whole step, so that's gonna put us right on B. Then we're gonna take another whole step to C sharp. Then it's time for a half step. Which is gonna put us right at D. From there, another whole step. D to E. Another whole step. E to F sharp. Another whole step. F sharp to G sharp. And then finally, a half step back to A. All together. Great, so now you can play scales at home. When you're playing your scale, it's really good to practice proper form while you play the scale. Let me show you how that looks real quick. It's very easy. We're gonna do it in the key of C this time. So all that I'm doing is I'm starting with my thumb, and once I get to my third finger from my thumb, so 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna carry the thumb over so that I can make it all the way to the end with my pinky. So thumb, finger, finger, thumb's gonna go underneath, and then the rest of the fingers can finish it out. Same thing going backwards. As soon as I get to my thumb, I'm gonna take my 2 fingers right here and cross over. If you practice like that, soon you'll be able to go really fast with your scales. Thank you for watching, and that is how to play a major scale on the piano.